Hi. So you have answered most, if not all, of my questions that I came here with. So thank you for that.
Don't rub it in for that guy. He's already mad. Abraham, why do you pick the guy who has no questions? His life's perfect.
So one question that has come up from the things that you say is, so when you were talking about your fire feature and everything, don't worry about the amount of gas you're using and just basically consume and
believe in the universe's ability to supply desire.
So
that's so big. You've got a choice. You can believe in shortage or you can believe in abundance. Take your pick, but you can't do both.
Right. And I believe in abundance.
Next.
One thing I guess I struggle with so much. I mean, we have oceans that have islands of plastic in them, and how do you continue to consume everything because the world is abundant, and then watch?
By understanding that when, as an individual or as a mass consciousness, when you create or see a problem, simultaneously you see or create a solution. So the physical environment, the universe, expands through the very thing that you think you're wanting to avoid. If you believe that things as they are will always and only be what is, then we can understand how you could support your belief in the shortage of something, because you say there's only this much that we've found. It's a finite amount of something, and if we are irresponsibly utilizing it, squandering it, wasting it, then it could be in short supply. But when you apply the greater laws of the universe and you acknowledge that when something seems in short supply, that then desires to either find more of it or desires to replace it with something more effective are born. And so new industries are literally born out of those kinds of things. Look at the short period of time that you can look back at the things that are driving this world, from coal to steam to jet fuel to nuclear to solar. You're discovering things because life causes you to desire something that you don't know how or when or where or who, but if the desire is there, then the means to receive it must be shown to you, and that's what you live for. You live for the desire or the question that has no answer, because the answer coming is the thrill of life. So wouldn't it just be really a kick in the pants if all of that waste that you're worried about is the future fuel of the world?
That would be amazing. I think it shall be.
It's not far-fetched.
No, it's not.
Within everything there is something. That's really profound. You may write that down.
Thank you. I think that
we appreciated your point. We appreciated your vantage point. We really appreciate the conversation.
I appreciate you clearing up my doubts.
We just want you to answer these questions from the standpoint of your inner being. Do you believe in infinity or finite? Do you believe in forever or temporary? Do you believe in more or less? Do you believe in abundance or absence of abundance? Do you believe in energy or nothingness? Do you believe in something or nothing? And the wonderful thing is that every time someone gets focused upon the absence of something that they want, you know what happens? They create the presence of it. And sometimes future generations have to be born to discover it, because the person who has focused upon the absence of it won't let themselves believe in the presence of it. But new ones are born who haven't practiced the absence of it, and they show up and they say, well, looky there. Looky there. Yeah. There must be someone over here. There must be someone over here. Sorry, there's no one over there. Right here. Right here.
Hi. Wow. Okay, so I wrote down my question. I've always been extremely drawn to the sky and sunsets and experience what I call visual healing when I gaze upon them. I feel the same way when I work with plants. So as an herbalist, I would like to know how the healing nature of mind, body, and soul that is experienced when ingesting large quantities of medicine, medicinal tea, or other medicines works. What is it about plants that heals us? And how can I use these healing gifts to best help others?
Well, your thoughts about plants are cleaner than your thoughts about other things. In some ways, it's because they're more general. You've never had a plant verbally abuse you or abandon you or talk smack about you. When you think about plants, your vibration is clear. So when you find something like that that you can focus upon, it's like meditation, where you're focused with open desire. It's meditative in nature, in that your desire is strong and flowing, but what you're focusing upon allows what you're asking for to flow. And so that's why.
Okay, so it's just no resistance when I'm focusing on the plants.
No resistance, usually, when you focus upon plants. Now, you could get resistant. You could start focusing upon their dying out or their being abused by the environment. You could add resistance to that recipe. You just usually don't.
So is it the non-resistance that heals people, or
Yes.
do the plants actually heal people?
Yes.
Which is the non-resistance.
So this is the conversation about thoughts turning to things. Yes, there are healing properties in plants. There are healing properties without plants. There are healing properties in the air you breathe. The same thing that the plant is made up of, so is the air, and so is the sky, and so is the sea. And so if you think in terms of energy, anything that allows pure energy to be received by you has the greatest potential of having what you want to call healing properties. What we want to call healing properties, yes, but less resistance, yes. When we stand on the stage like this and we present what we know through Esther, and you all listen, and we know that sometimes it just looks like someone very sure about what she's saying, who is unwavering in the story that she tells. And for some people, it's just another person's opinion that might work and might not work, but blah, blah, blah. It's just another person's opinion. But we know for sure that if you have a strong desire or a desire, and you find a way, meditation is a good way, it's the best way we know, of clearing your resistance and allowing your vibration to rise, that once your vibration has risen to the vibrational equivalency of your inner being, who is standing with all of the solutions to your problems and all the answers to your questions and all the roadmaps to your path of least resistance, that when you allow that to happen on a pretty consistent basis yourself, that ideas begin to flow to you, and then a path of lesser resistance unfolds. And sometimes that path takes you to a plant, because for you it's the path of least resistance. Somebody who doesn't believe in that, their lack of resistance, their guidance would take them another way. That's why you want to fight all the time about whose path is the right path. And what we would like to say to you is that you each have individual paths, and each of your paths is the right path. And if you will just trust your inner being knows what your path is, if there is anything that we would like to leave you knowing, or say it loud enough that you could hear it, that never happens. But sometimes we can say it often enough that you begin to hear it, is that when you find a way to feel better more of the time, then more of the things that you want begin showing up in your experience. And when you start making the conscious association between how you feel and what happens next, now you've got it. If there's anything we would like you to leave this gathering remembering and knowing, it is that there's not just one path, but that your inner being, each of you, your inner being knows exactly what you want and what the path of least resistance, what your path of least resistance is to get you from where you are to what you want. So in the non-physical sourcedom, there are no committee meetings where we are debating what the path of least resistance is, because there isn't a path of least resistance, because it is an individual thing that has to do with the desire and the belief of the individual on the path. Don't you love knowing that? You are so known and so tended to and so adored that your precise placement along your path, of which you, by the way, have thrown a whole lot of stuff, we're just saying, if it were not for you, there would be no resistance on your path. But if it were not for you and your resistance, there would be no path. So you want to bless the resistance that has carved out a path, and then you want to stop tripping over the resistance because your inner being knows the way around the resistance in order to... That's the power of desire. That was really good. That's really good. That's you asking, and Esther conjuring an intensity that was unnecessary. Something more?
One more quick question. Since I was little, I've always seen what I used to call static in the air. I used to tell my mom, and she would just say, I need your glasses.
Thanks for the static, because you just produced it.
Yeah. So this clear static changes speed and direction, and actually when I first saw you, it felt like an explosion of static.
Yeah, we heard
going out. Yeah. So I heard something from you before saying that's energy, but I just wanted to know, sometimes I feel like it impairs my vision because it's hard to focus on something when I see so much in between me and that thing.
The answer is just chill a little. Because what's happening is you're revving up. This is where this whole seminar started today. You're revving up more desire than your open valve is allowing, which puts unnecessary tension into the mix. That's all.
But how come I can see it?
Because some people translate vibration verbally, some people translate it visually, some people translate it through their solar plexus in the form of emotion. You're just a translator of it. It's a good thing.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. We feel no responsibility to you over here. We're not going to cave to your whining.